Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Homie Squak here, and we're back with another thrilling hour of adventure and chaos. In case you're unfamiliar, I am the intrepid weaver of illustrations and dumb jokes, Hannah. And of course, I'm joined by my cohorts here, Giggles the Mediocre, the wise and all-knowing Trevor, and the terrifying, the deadly, the amazing Kyle Man.
Kyle Man.
You got my name wrong.
The human Kyle. Once again, we find our heroes assembled here in this great hall, but not for the reason you're thinking. For today's podcast will be a little bit different. Instead of the usual question-answer format, we will be joining forces to construct for you another Top 5 countdown. The last time our heroes gathered for such an occasion, we revealed our Top 5 favorite video games from 2020. This time, in honor of the Kyle Man finishing his first venture into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we are collected here today to give you our Top 5 MCU movies. So, strap on that spandex, gather all the popcorn at your disposal, and sit back for a journey through Marvel's Cinematic Universe thus far.
Way to assume I don't already have my spandex on.
How dare you?
First of all,
That was really good.
That was awesome.
that was great.
Thank you.
I do not want to follow up on that.
But
Now
you
have
must.
to use your old-timey radio voice.
I don't have a voice. Okay. Yes, we're gonna start with number 5, and
I think we should clarify, we're going to do 5 for each person, and then move on to 4 for each person, and so on.
yeah, and if you don't catch on, then I'm sorry. Okay, so we'll start with my number 5, and I put Thor Ragnarok, which is the third in the Thor.
Thord.
The third in the Thor movies, after the worst second movie ever. Yeah, maybe not the worst, but it's pretty bad. It was just a different point of view, or a different point, I don't know, of Thor's story, where it's not as serious as the first two, I think, were, and the third one was just more colorful and comical and just not your usual Thor story, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
For my number 5, I put Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay.
Nice.
I really like this movie. I really like the sort of 80s teen John Hughes approach that they used for it. It just really made that high school feel very authentic. I also really enjoyed the authenticity to the true character of what I believe to be Spider-Man throughout. They really emphasize that he's a kid growing up in Queens. The emphasis on the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man aspect, where he's just helping people with directions on the street rather than facing terrible threats. And I also really enjoy Tom Holland's really great portrayal of Peter and Spider-Man, and just the balance that he has with that.
Yeah.
Another thing I really enjoyed about this movie was the comic book nods. One in how they brought the Vulture story into a very modern fit. It made sense exactly why he became the Vulture, and he's not only a very strong combatant for Spider-Man, but he's also very smart. Mm-hmm. And I like that they played that up and made him, an intellectual.
Yeah.
And just the tie-ins to him being able to sell tech that was coming from the old Avengers movies, just made sense why he would become a villain.
Yeah.
But also another comic book nod in that was the part where Spider-Man is trapped underneath like
Yeah.
basically a
Oh.
building.
Yeah.
That's like straight out
The
of the
entire
comics.
building. Yep.
And I really love the attention to detail on that scene because that scene in the comic books, I remember reading it and just being so inspired because, you know, that's who Spider-Man is. Like, he can be trapped at the bottom of this like impossible weight, but he still gets back up. He still, you know, keeps doing his thing because that's his responsibility. And I
I believe his
Love it.
catchphrase is, "I can do this all day."
Yes. I think
Captain
you're right.
Spider-Man. But the final thing I wanted to say about this movie is that I really enjoy Iron Man's line where he's talking to Peter about, you know, messing up basically, and Peter goes off on him and says like, you wouldn't, you know, say that if you were really here, and he just steps out of the Iron Man suit like,
He's like,
yeah,
"Bitch,
I am
what?"
here.
Yeah. Don't say that to my face.
Yeah. But he steps out and he tells him, like, if you're nothing without the suit, then you don't deserve to wear it. And I really
Yeah.
like that because it's something that Iron Man has learned up to this point, and now he's passing it on to, like, the next generation. So I love that movie. It's really good, and it's a solid Spider-Man film. Whoa!
Let me guess.
Shiza.
Ash.
That wasn't
That was
us.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Way to blame
That was
us.
me.
Yeah.
That was so loud.
Yeah.
What could it have been?
It was my fan falling off
Oh,
the chair.
oh, it was Hannah.
Yeah, way to blame Ash. She's just sleeping, Kyle.
sleeping.
Sorry. It's just he usually makes little noises.
Little.
Sorry.
Ash! Lucky he can't hear you.
Yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming.
All right.
Hannah was crushed in a building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underneath all this building.
But I'm gonna finish the podcast.
I'm gonna do it anyways.
Hannah, we have like
What
an hour to go.
Spider-Man would
I'm okay.
All right, so my number 5, same as Gigi's. I put Thor Ragnarok.
Hey.
Pretty much for a lot of the same reasons that Gigi mentioned. I really like the sort of comical approach that they took in this movie. I feel like Thor always kind of had that sort of comical, thing in his movies because he's, this god from another planet and another galaxy and all that, and then his interactions with people is just hilarious to me.
Yeah.
And then I really like the scene with him and Hulk in the whatever you call that
Oh,
place.
he's a friend from work.
Yeah,
The
I know
Coliseum
him. Yeah, I love that line when he's just like, "Oh, it's okay, I know him." And then I think they did a good job in that one because whatever the second one wasn't that great. I don't think it was. Was
It's
it
like Dark World or
Yeah.
Yeah. And just not very memorable. So I think they really redeemed themselves in this third one. And this is the one where he has short hair too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he has his
forced to
helmet.
get-
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was Stan Lee who gave
Finally.
him the haircut.
What'd you say, Trevor?
I think it was Stan Lee who gave him the haircut. That
Yeah,
weird,
yeah.
contraption.
He's like,
thing.
"No, please, sir, no, not my hair."
Yeah, but overall, I
Yeah.
just really liked the movie because it did have a lot of comedy in it, but it was also pretty serious with the main antagonist being Thor's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know, it was just like a really good blend of like really serious stuff, but also funny. And yeah, that's my number 5.
Hey.
My number 5, copy and paste, Thor Ragnarok.
Hey! Get on our level, Hannah!
No, Hannah, you chose wrong.
You chose wrong.
Yeah, like mentioned before, this movie has a lot of action. It has a lot of laughs. It introduces some memorable characters, like Korg, who was cool,
Valkyrie.
and Valkyrie when she wasn't drunk, like she was a total badass.
She's awesome.
She's
Even
badass
if
when
she
she's
is
a drunk
drunk.
too.
Yeah.
And this is a major turning point in Thor's life. He learns his powers were in him all along, and not just from Mjolnir,
Yeah.
which was destroyed by his sister, which he just learned about.
Yeah.
So,
Love
and
it.
then at the end, he becomes the king of Asgard, taking over Odin's place for a brief moment. It has a Led Zeppelin song in it, which I do want to touch on. I
Oh
think
yeah.
Just
Touch
they used it. They used it twice.
Aw.
I would have personally used it only once, and I would have saved it for the Rainbow Bridge scene.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. It just the song itself, the immigrant song, wasn't a recurring theme. I don't think in the movie. Like if they used it like maybe 4 or 5 times throughout the movie, then I guess that's fine. But they only used it twice, just to highlight really how badass he is, I guess.
Yeah.
But I would have saved it. However, a very enjoyable movie. I saw on Reddit that there are I think at least 3 different rock paper scissors jokes in it, which is pretty funny in itself. But yeah, that's my number 5.
Nice. Okay. Um, so my number 4 is I put Captain Marvel. Um,
wow,
it's
that low for you? I'm surprised.
Hey man, I had to change this list a couple of times. This is not a permanent list, okay? This is just
This is the podcast.
I know, but it's subject to change, like we said before. So this is just where it is right now. It probably might. I don't know. Anyways, it's at number 4. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're wrong. I'm just kidding.
I really enjoyed it. It was, I believe, Marvel's first, like, at least for this, I don't know what you call it, this set of Marvel movies, first female Marvel hero to get a solo movie. Her confidence is not broken no matter what she's going through. And then, like, one of my favorite moments in that film is her montage of constantly being pushed down or thrown down or just on the ground, but she is always getting up. I think that's like my favorite scene from that movie.
I believe her catchphrase is "I can do this all day."
Oh
right?
my god, never back down. But I don't know. I enjoyed her performance of it. I enjoyed her confidence, her cockiness. Yeah, I just really like the movie a lot. And Brie Larson is just really cool. So there's that too.
Higher, further, faster, baby.
Yes.
Hey.
Oh, and also, not that it matters, but her version of Black Sheep is now on Spotify
my
and
God.
streaming, and it's the best version
Plugging
ever.
Brie Larson.
Yes, I am. I am because
Oh
they
my
officially
God.
released her version of the song, and it's so good.
It is better than the original.
Yeah.
Sorry, Metric.
Fine, I'm sorry.
Wow.
That's debatable.
Have you even heard it?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's just what I say.
It's my catchphrase. Yeah.
My number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hey.
I really like how this movie literally brought heroes that were straight out of nowhere into popularity. I really liked that James Gunn's approach to making them memorable was like giving them distinct qualities and making them individual people so that you don't just remember them as a group, you remember them, as individual characters.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna wait
Is that
for the
Rocket
dog.
in the background?
Rocket in the background. Yes, Rocket is a dog.
Yeah, Rocket Dog.
Rocket dog.
Rocket Dog.
All right, Rocket, calm down.
I'm sorry, what? What kind of cookies are you eating?
Chocolate chip.
Oh.
Crunchy or chewy?
Chewy, I guess.
Nice.
I mean, on the edges they're a little crunchy because they were baked, but like they're not like burnt or anything.
Oh, I thought you bought them.
They're from
Okay,
McDonald's.
Anyways.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway,
um, yeah. So yeah, I like that they made them very individual, despite being a group. I also really love how the soundtrack just lends itself to the memorability of the movie as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, it fits that movie so well and the style so well, and it really grounds. It gives the audience something to relate to because most of these characters are aliens and stuff, but you have like this one human element that you can relate to, and it makes it even better. I also really love that this movie is committed to showing how these characters that really aren't meant to be together are actually meant to be together. Like, it's the whole like found family trope, and they play it off really really well. So yeah, I really like it.
Yeah.
all right. So for my number 4, I put the first Ant-Man.
Oh.
Nice.
I really enjoy this movie mostly because of Paul Rudd. I really enjoy him as an actor in whatever he's in. There's
Yeah.
just something
Yeah.
about him. He's super witty and super funny, but also really relatable. And I really like the Ant-Man as a superhero. Because he's really just like, I mean, obviously he's, not the best person in the world, but I mean, you can really relate to the character, and he's very like down to earth, and he's about as normal as they come when it comes to superheroes. And the concept of Ant-Man is really cool. I really love the scene. I'm pretty sure it's like the first time he uses, the shrinking mechanism thing. And he's like he goes into the bathtub, and then he goes small, and then like the water turns on. And when
yeah.
he's just this little tiny ant, he's just running away from what looks like a freaking tsunami, but it's just the bath turning on. But I think
Yeah.
the special effects in this movie and in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I just think the special effects are really awesome in these movies because of the concept of him being as small as an ant, and all the special effects that they throw in there with him being so small, and when he gets really big and all that. And it's just, I don't know, just as a movie, and because of Paul Rudd, I just really, really love this movie.
I love the scene in that movie where they're fighting on the train, and like it seems
Yeah.
like this epic battle, and then it shows from the outside perspective, and it's just Thomas the Train hitting like a little tiny thing.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah.
just tips
It's
over.
just like think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that, how, like, for the most part, like, the villains or the danger in these movies are, like, people with guns or aliens or, gods or something. But then in Ant-Man and the Wasp, like, the danger is, like, normal, everyday stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they grow, like, these Hot Wheels cars or something, or, like, Tic Tacs, Pez,
Yeah.
the tub,
Train.
Thomas the toy engine. Like, they just turn ordinary objects into like weapons.
Yeah. It's great.
Okay, number 4 for me is Spider-Man: Homecoming, for pretty much the same reasons that Hannah gave. This is Tom Holland's first solo movie as Spider-Man, and it shows like the classic struggle of personal life and an alter ego without the Uncle Ben part again. Um, I think there was a very fantastic reveal that Liz's dad is Adrian Toomes, and like that scene where he's like at her house
Oh,
and just
yeah.
like staring at the vulture, and like he's like, oh my god, like my date's dad is this guy who's been trying to kill me.
Yeah.
And then like that slow realization of Adrian going like, holy shit, like my daughter's date is the guy who's I've been trying to kill.
Yep.
I
Like,
love
that
that
was-
scene in the car
oh.
with them.
Oh,
with
yeah,
that was
the
so
lighting
good.
of like red light, green light, and how
Yeah.
that relates to how he's revealing things, and it's like,
Mhm.
ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, as Hannah pointed out, the quintessential moment of Spider-Man being trapped in the collapsed building, and then relying on like just pure strength and his powers to get him out of what should have been an impossible situation for probably anyone except for maybe like Thor and the Hulk. Um, and just that switch from "Come on, Peter" to "Come on, Spider-Man," like just kind of showing like, I guess like who he's putting all his faith into. Although I think I would have switched it, start out like "Come on, Spider-Man," and then like believing in himself. "Come on, Peter."
Yeah.
I think that probably would have made more of an impact, but there's neither here nor there.
What do you gotta
And then
do?
the allusion to Miles Morales, I don't see why they wouldn't introduce him at some point later on in the MCU. They had his uncle in here, and
Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but
I got ice cream in the back.
Sorry.
Oh man.
so I'm super excited for Miles Morales at some point.
Be cool.
I really hope he comes into the MCU.
Yeah.
My guess, honestly, would be in the third Spider-Man movie, No Way Home.
Yeah.
God, there's
But
so much, so many
Yeah.
characters gonna be in that movie.
Yeah.
I
But-
hope it's good though.
It'll
Not
be
like
magical.
a overflow of people like, oh shit, what's happening?
Yeah.
But for a Spider-Man movie in the MCU, finally, they did an amazing job on it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
GG.
So that moves us to numero threat, and I've been
Nice.
contemplating on the placement of everything. So
Are we
I'll-
about to switch them up right now?
I was thinking about it.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm gonna just stick with what I have written. That's what I'm gonna do. So for number 3, I have Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 because I couldn't pick. And they go really well together. So I enjoyed the characters, like Hannah has mentioned before. Like they're individual person, and they all have an impact, and they're all memorable. The first one, I mean, both of them have really great soundtracks, like
Yeah.
spot on, perfection. And I mean, you wouldn't have gotten the second movie without the first one, of just them coming together and your unlikely heroes. And like Trevor and I were talking about it yesterday, like how Star-Lord, he at times seems like he would be, he does his job well, and then there's sometimes where you're just like, wait, how the fuck are you this guy, like bounty hunter, like you're a mess. But yeah, I love the humor in it, I love the music in it, and just the characters they're your unlikely hero,
Yeah,
band of
definitely.
heroes.
Misfits.
So it's
Yeah.
it's really great. So it's like the Avengers, like secondhand, just like
Yeah.
a symbol of people that are trying to get together and do what's right, but
Yeah. And like, they're not quite like anti-heroes,
no.
but they're like one step below that.
Yeah.
They're like they could probably, they'll probably break the law
Well, they
to
have.
justify.
They might save
Getting their
everybody.
goal.
Who knows?
I know.
Yeah.
For money. That's
Yeah,
For
like,
money.
Literally.
I think
For us.
Peter Quill at the end
Yeah.
of the first one, like, who was it? I think it was like Gamora. Like, what are we gonna do today? And it's like something good, something bad. And it's like, I don't know, maybe something of both.
yeah.
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 My number 3, get on my level, is Thor Ragnarok.
Ah.
I love Thor Ragnarok. First of all, the humor, hashtag let Chris Hemsworth be funny. Like, let him be funny. He's hilarious.
Just let it happen.
Just let it happen. I really like that they were able to give such an unexpected turn in the Thor movies, because they had started off so serious, and even going into it, like, it was called Thor Ragnarok, which Ragnarok is like the end of all ends.
Yeah.
So everybody's expecting something so dark, and the fact that they were able to twist that into this freaking hilarious movie, like I really give them props for that. While still maintaining a lot of dark elements, there was a lot of like terrible things that happened. So yeah, mad props. I love that Thor finally got to wear his helmet.
Yeah.
Like, he literally wore it for 2 seconds in the first movie, and I was so upset that he never wore it again. And so,
But his hair, though.
I was
Yes.
just, I was so happy that he got to wear it for at least this battle in this movie. I really love the additions to the cast, like Jeff Goldblum, Tessa Thompson, Taika Waititi. Like, they didn't get that much time to shine, but when they did, they did.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you will always remember those characters. They're so great. I also love that Loki and Thor's like bro mentality is super amplified in this movie.
Yeah.
Like from the start, you know, when he figures out that, you know, his brother has been impersonating his dad,
Oh,
and
yeah.
in the middle of the play with Matt Damon,
Yeah.
like just from the start of that to all the way to the like we're gonna do Get Help, and he's like, no, I don't want to do that one. Like they have like broship goals. Like,
Yeah.
it's so good. But then the last thing I wanted to highlight was I really love the scene where Thor and Loki are sitting with Odin as he's dying, basically, and they're in like these beautiful hillscapes in Scotland, just looking out on the water, and he's just talking to them about, you know, what he saw for both of them, and it's right before Hela makes her entrance, but it's just such a beautiful scene, seeing them together. You know, he's so happy to have both his sons there, and you know, just be with them as he goes. But it's just so beautiful visually and just as a moment. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Speaking of beautiful scenes, that scene where Loki goes into Valkyrie's mind and he sees the fight against Hela,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was incredible.
Yeah.
the visuals on that were
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot
man.
of good visuals in that movie.
Yeah. So get on my level and put it higher, guys. Jeez.
For me, for my number 3 pick, I went with Avengers: Infinity War.
Really?
What? Does it not
Ooh.
deserve to be on the top 5?
No, I thought it would be higher for all of us.
Oh, well,
What should I assume?
yeah, that was before I saw a couple of other movies, so we'll get to those.
Look at that. Look at that.
I really love this movie for its I don't know what the right word is. I wouldn't call it realism because there's a lot of elements that aren't real about this, but like I love how like the heroes aren't this all powerful force, and like, you know, like I don't want to say I
They're
like
vulnerable.
seeing yeah, and I like it when heroes lose sometimes and
Yeah.
show like this, I don't know, it's like it's not all that easy. Like this is a really tough thing to do, to take down Thanos, and they actually failed, and it was like, I don't know, it showed just this level of like desperation, and seeing that was you know, it was a different take on these movies, because a lot of the time things work out in the MCU for the good guys, and it's like, yeah, you know, we did it, but it's like this one it didn't work out, and because of that half the population just disappeared, just vanished, and I just,
Bye.
yeah, I love that scene at the end when it's like just everyone just vanishes into dust, and it's just like, oh my god, this is real. And you know, like one of the most heartbreaking scenes when freaking Peter Parker
Yeah.
and Iron Man, and he's just like,
God.
please don't let them take me. Don't
He's like, I'm not ready to go.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh man, poor Peter.
But
And
then he says, I can do this all day, and he gets back
Oh
up.
my god.
no, he's like, that all you got?
Oh my god. He's got some dirt in his eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
No,
trash, Thanos.
No, and I don't know, I just really love the level of like desperation in this movie and like hopelessness. And it's
Yes.
like obviously it's not the end, but I mean at this point it's just like, oh
We didn't
man, this
know
is
at the
yeah,
time.
yeah, and it's just like damn, this is tough. And yeah, I just I think this movie was really really exciting. And I can see the argument where it's like there's a lot going on in this movie and like everybody's in it and whatnot. And the same can kind of be said about Endgame, but for this one, I thought there were really a lot of epic moments in this film, especially
Definitely.
towards the end, when Thanos is trying to get the last Infinity Stone. And that whole part with Wanda and Vision. I thought that was really heartbreaking. How Thanos is just like, nope, and then brings him back and just kills him again, and it's just like, no.
Yeah.
It was so heartbreaking.
It's really
but,
sad because he like knew what he was doing. He let her do that and let
Yeah.
her go through that, and then was like, nah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not quite. It's cute though. It's cute.
Yeah,
Oh my
try
Fucking
it.
Thanos.
Oh my god.
But yeah, overall, just a really really great emotional film. Just I loved it.
I loved it. I like being depressed.
Same.
My number 3 is Endgame. This is the penultimate movie in the MCU, and the conclusion to Thanos, or at least I think. I'm pretty sure.
No one
I
ever
can't
dies.
seem. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's inevitable.
They brought in everybody for this movie, even that kid in was it Iron Man 3? Iron Man, yeah.
The unknown kid.
Um, this movie has a second, third, and fourth snap in it. It has a time heist. It has Captain America finally saying, "Avengers Assemble,"
Yeah.
along with him using Mjolnir, and I think it was, in all sense of the word, an epic conclusion to what was 11 years in the making.
Yeah.
And this movie definitely brought the feels with it. The death of Iron Man, the retirement of Steve Rogers, choosing not to come back through the time portal. And then what gets me every time, Peter and Ned's reunion at the end. Oh man,
So genuine.
that hits me. Oh. But
They're gonna build the Death Star.
yeah, they kill Thanos right at the beginning, and they're like, "Okay, what now?"
Fucking
And then it's
Thor.
just sort of like, "Okay, let's move on with our lives." And
What
then
do?
Ant-Man comes out of nowhere thanks to a fucking rat. And then Time Heist.
Good old rats.
Yeah.
But
I-
it was definitely
Master Splinter.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I love that scene with Ant-Man kind of coming back,
Yeah.
and just like trying to piece together what happened and everything, and then he sees his daughter. What is it? 5 years,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh man, that reunion.
Yeah. But, the Peter Parker and Ned reunion too. Let's not forget about that one.
Right.
But yeah, great visuals, especially at the very end. You have all the portals and bringing everybody in, and then Captain America, and or even right before that, when Captain America is pretty much just him facing off against Thanos and his army, and you could tell he was gonna do it. He was gonna fight Thanos and that army by himself if he had to.
I'm a man of my
But then
word.
all these portals start opening up, bringing everybody in. Oh man, that was such a. In the theater, there were people
Dude.
clapping and cheering
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll never forget the theater experience
Yeah.
of watching that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, that was such a great movie.
Yeah. On to
Up to number 2.
number 2. Alright, so my number 2 is Spider-Man Far From Home. I thought the visuals were amazing, especially during the Mysterio fight. Just Spider-Man not realizing like when his reality or what was real, what wasn't, and then him dealing with the fact that Tony Stark is gone, realizing that there's more to his neighborhood duties than just being the neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then of course the ending where his secret identity is just exposed
Yeah.
by your boy.
Your boy JJ.
Yeah.
JJ makes his appearance. I mean, really, that's just what makes the movie the best. Just kidding.
It's just
But
Jameson.
I think it really shows Peter Parker and Spider-Man growing
Yeah.
out of just the neighborhood Spider-Man.
Well, as Nick Fury put it, bitch, please, you've been in space.
But it wasn't even him, right? It was like
Yeah,
the
no,
Yeah.
it's a
Skrulls.
girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, but that was that was funny. Yeah.
Nice. My number 2 is Avengers: Infinity War.
Huh.
I really like this movie for the stakes. Everything's pumped up to 11.
Jake.
Yeah.
I love the fact that our heroes lose. It's such an important moment to see. Like Kyle said, they're not invincible. Like they have to be able to lose. And up to that point, like they've suffered some losses, but it wasn't nearly on this scale.
Yeah.
So to see that happen was just like I remember being so heartbroken in the theater.
Right?
I love that everything that can be brutal in this movie is brutal. It just makes it that much harder to watch, but that much more emotional in its whole. I also love that the dynamics between the characters we've never seen interact with each other before
Yeah.
is very carefully crafted. Like those teams that were on each of those, Team Planet versus Team Earth and everything, those were picked very carefully and picked
Yeah.
for specific reasons. And I really love that they all got to interact that way. Like seeing Iron Man interact with Doctor Strange is a very memorable interaction. Same with like Captain America and like Black Panther and all of that troop. Like
Yeah.
those were all just very, very well done relationships that got established there and made it even better. The fact that the Avengers come together after all they've been through thus far, like right before this was Civil War and they were split right down the middle.
Yeah.
And the fact that they all come together because they know they have to is even more, it gives this even more of an emotional heart because like deep down, even though they were fighting with each other, like they do care about each other, especially with Cap and Tony. And
Yeah.
so, the fact that they had to get back together it's cool. And then finally, I really love Thanos in this movie. Like, it's not, it's not a usual take to sort of be rooting for the villain, but like, he's such a compelling character in this
Yeah.
movie. Like, I really love the way he was done because he's been in the background this whole time, so we've seen him before, but in this movie we get to know who he is as a person and what he believes in. And like every villain, they believe they're the hero of their own story.
Right.
But like the scene with him and Gamora getting the Soul Stone gets me every single time.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to believe that he loved her, but that performance it hands down tells me like, yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's giving up, and he did care about her. And he believed in his vision more. And it's that much more heartbreaking. And yeah, everything about this movie is heartbreaking, but it's so good and it's so well done. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely a good movie.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got the sense from him that he enjoyed killing. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, you
it was
believe
just
that.
necessary.
Yeah, he was doing what was necessary, what
Necessary
others
evil.
wouldn't do. Oh, and then that line of, dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards. That's so good.
Earth is closed, Squidward.
Oh
Oh
man.
man.
You make one more 80s movie reference, I swear.
All right. So my number 2 is Spider-Man: Homecoming. I really enjoyed. This is my first time seeing Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Obviously, he was in Civil War, but this was his first standalone movie, and this when I saw it, the movie had already been out for what 4 years or so. So I mean, people knew about him and talking all these good things about him and whatnot. And I didn't really
Hyping
have.
him up.
I never really had an opinion because I had never seen it. So seeing the movie, I totally get why people love this Spider-Man, love Tom Holland as Spider-Man and Peter Parker, because I mean he really kills it, and he's such a compelling actor, and the character is just it's just such a fun movie to watch. And you guys have kind of already talked about it, but I just love that reveal of the villain and the hero sort of figuring out each other
Yeah.
in the house and then in the car. It's just like I remember watching it with Gabby, and I was just like, "Oh shit!"
That was so
talk
tense.
about an awkward car ride.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, just all the characters in this movie too. The supporting characters like Ned and Iron Man. I love the dynamic between him and Peter Parker. It's sort of just like this fatherly figure, and just the level of authenticity and like genuine, like I don't know, I wouldn't call it love, but like like Peter Parker just looks up to Iron Man, and it's just like it's so genuine and real, and I just love that. And like kind of like Thor Ragnarok, there's definitely a lot of good comedy moments in this movie too. Overall, just a really enjoyable movie. I love it a lot.
Speaking of that relationship between him and Iron Man, like the scene at the beginning where he's like opening the door and he thinks
Yeah.
he's hugging him, and he's like, "No, no,
Oh,
no."
yeah.
I'm not hugging you, just trying to get the door.
Like, just trying to get the door open.
It's just like, oh man,
You can tell
I feel
he's
so
so
bad.
crushed because he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, please, I wanted it to be a hug."
Yeah. I needed this.
Poor Peter.
Poor Peter.
All right, moving on with Spider-Man. My number 2 is Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Hey.
This was number 2 of 2 of the misdirection of the enemy, where like you're like, okay, well, this is the bad guy, and you're like, oh shit, no, this is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Um, at least in Peter's perspective.
Yeah.
And you can kind of understand, like with Thanos, like what makes a good villain is like you can understand their perspective. Like you see why they're doing it, and maybe you wouldn't do it yourself, but you can definitely understand. And with this, the motive for him, getting this team together to build like what's possibly the world's best special effects going on. It's because he worked so hard on like this program, only for Tony Stark to like humiliate him.
Yeah.
Basically, just giving it like the acronym of BARF.
Oh, yeah.
And then this movie shows Peter Parker going full Spider-Man, trusting in his Spidey sense completely in that final fight. And that was so cool.
Yep.
And then, of course, the J.K. Simmons as Jameson and the reveal of who Spider-Man is, and like, I can't wait to see where it goes from there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he just fucked him over totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The real identity of Spider-Man is, and they just put like his high school photo.
Yeah. I love Peter's reaction. He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I think that was just a callback to the first one where Aunt May finds out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she was
Yeah.
about to say that same exact thing and they
Yeah.
cut it off.
Yeah.
So that's probably how they're going to end the third one.
With the what the fuck?
Like maybe Miles Morales showing up in a Spider-Man suit and then Peter's like, "What the f-?" And then
No,
cut.
it's gonna be Spider Pig.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Spider-Pig. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind that one.
He's gonna be like, what the? Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, this was another great movie with even better visuals and like. At first, you're thinking, okay, well, the elementals are, that's a MCU villain or a Marvel villain, and then it turns out like they weren't real at all. They were just, I guess, drones with projectors and guns and missiles and shit.
Yeah.
Stupid drones.
We were just lied to the entire movie.
Yes.
And then Peter gets hit by a train and he lives
Oh.
because he can
Yeah.
do that.
Because he can do that.
That was a brutal scene.
Yeah.
That was,
Like all the hallucinations up
Oh,
to that
man.
point. Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. But it was beautiful. It was just.
It was.
It was great to watch in theater. We watched it twice in theaters.
Nice.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right, so we are now moving on to number one,
Yes.
our top pick.
But do we want to
Honorable
mention
mentions.
honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions.
First.
Okay, Gigi.
Well, I didn't think I needed a list.
Just see what comes to
but
mind.
I was gonna say Black Panther is an honorable mention. It's great. It's I don't know. It's kind of like how like the female hero getting a solo movie is just like kind of having the African American hero getting his movie. Like
Yeah.
it's just an up, like I don't know, a step in the right direction or whatever. But like I think it was great. I think
That's why we need Miles Morales.
Yes. But I think it was just good. It was just a diversity. It added to the universe. It didn't like decline or make people go, "Why did you add him?" But like I think the actor, oh my god,
Chadwick Boseman.
yeah, I think he did really well as Black Panther, and Michael B. Jordan was a great villain, I think, as well to his hero. And then the originals, like Iron Man 1, Thor 1, Captain America, their intros are like the baseline as to what created these movies become as popular as they are now.
Mm-hmm.
Though they were a little dry and not as humorous as these ones are
Yeah.
now. But they definitely were the starting point for the movies to get to where they are now.
Yeah, just showing
Yeah.
like these
True.
can be done
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, there's definitely like a sense of confidence in the movies as a whole as they go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So that's what came to mind. I
for-
missed something.
For me, for my honorable mentions, I have Captain America Civil War. I really love the superhero on superhero action. Like, I've always loved that storyline from the comics and them being divided by whether or not they should register with the government and seeing
Yeah.
both sides of it and everything. So I think they did a really great job of introducing that to this world and making it relevant.
Yeah. On a
also
scaled down version.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think in the comics it's like hundreds upon hundreds
Oh, yeah.
against hundreds upon hundreds.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a massacre.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But we also get to see Spider-Man for the first time, so that's
Yeah.
that was a added
Yeah.
bonus.
On the roof.
Yeah, and then like he's like fighting these guys and like he's being all polite and he's excited about it because like he's a part
A
of
metal
this.
arm? That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
It's so
He's
great.
like fanning over them.
Yeah.
As he's
Oh,
fighting them.
Where
Yeah.
you from? Queens? Where are you from? Brooklyn.
It is a good one.
I also have Captain America Winter Soldier as an honorable
Another good
mention. I really love that movie took Captain America into a different genre. Like, it was basically like a spy thriller.
Yeah.
And they basically put Captain America in one of the most uncomfortable positions that he could ever be in because he's
Yeah.
like you know, he's been a soldier serving all his life, and then they turn on him, and he has to
Yeah.
figure out how to function outside of that. So,
Yeah.
it's not only like a great lesson for him in, you know, adapting to the new world, but it's also a great, you know, it's a great place for him to figure out who he is outside of Captain America. So I really love that movie. And then my third honorable mention is Avengers Endgame. Obviously, like the big on your left scene is worth it in spades. I absolutely adore that last fight and everything that went into it.
Yeah.
I think why it didn't quite make my top five is like the story is a little bit messy, and there's definitely areas that could have been improved, and they were trying to do a lot with one thing. But
Time heist.
yeah, I still think it's an absolutely worthy end for that arc of the story, and
Yeah.
there's definitely like moments that are just peak above everything else, but as a whole, I think it's almost in my top five. It's not quite there, but it's almost there.
I also want to point out, I think it's really weird when they do the whole female thing.
Yeah, that
That's
I
what I've
did
been
not enjoy
saying
at all.
from the beginning.
Yeah,
That was forced, and I didn't like it.
like, I get why maybe they wanted to do that, but at the same time, like, it's not necessary.
Oh, you mean like at the end, like the final
Where
battle?
Captain Marvel.
Like all the women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We're
Peter Parker
all
was there
here,
for a little
even though we've
bit
never
there too.
met.
Yeah. My woman senses were tingling to
Yeah,
go to this
exactly.
spot.
Go to this spot right now.
Yeah.
They had a meetup planned. It was on the Google calendars. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had Starbucks talks about it. It was
Yeah.
it's great.
But yeah, those are my three honorable mentions.
Nice. Okay, so for me, honorable mentions, I have the original Avengers movie. I thought this one was just a really, I don't know, kind of the start of this bigger world, because all these people were just, or all these superheroes were just coming together and fighting for something bigger. And God, it's been a while since I've seen it. I need to watch it again. I don't really remember a lot. I just remember one of my favorite moments is when Hulk and Loki face off, and Hulk just beats the shit out of him. I just thought that was hilarious.
Loki has so many back problems now.
But yeah, I just really like that movie for the fact that the Avengers really assembled for the first time, and it was just, I don't know, it was the beginning of something great. And really opened up the universe more. And then also I have Black Panther, for more of the same reasons that were already mentioned. I really enjoyed this movie. I love the world that they were in. Can't remember it right now. Wakanda. Yes, thank you. Sorry.
I say it like all the time.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, Wakanda forever.
Right. And then I love the I just love gosh, what do you call it? The battle, I guess, between Black Panther and the villain, who I can't remember his name either.
Killmonger.
Yeah.
He gave himself that name.
I'd be bestowed upon me.
Yeah, he's like one of those villains that like you love to hate, I guess, because of his cocky attitude.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you really sympathize with him because of where he came from and where he is now.
Yeah.
And it's hard to hate him, but it's also hard to love him. And I thought the end scene. I just love the
Auntie.
the end scene with him and Black Panther. It was really touching, and I don't know, they understood each other on some level, even though they were pretty much enemies the entire movie.
Yeah.
Another honorable mention, Ant-Man and the Wasp, for more of the same reasons as Ant-Man. I think they did a good job on building the characters in this second movie. I really love the the relationship thing between the characters. God, I can't remember anyone's name right now. Ant-Man and the Wasp. You know, those two characters, whatever their actual names are.
The titular
Yes.
characters.
Yeah. Scott
What's her
Lang
name?
and the chick from Lost. Um,
Yeah, Evangeline Lilly, I think her name is.
yeah.
I don't remember her name.
I don't know. I really love their dynamic, and
Janet
it's
Van
like,
Dyne.
it's like, it kind of seems like the whole time she's totally into him, but like, I don't know. There's something that's like holding them back, and it's like this whole like, when is it gonna happen kind of thing. And I just really love that. And then, they have a lot of really good side characters in this movie, like Scott's whole gang, his posse.
Yeah.
They're so funny in both of the movies. And yeah, I mean, if I had like a top six or top 10, I should say, Ant-Man and the Wasp would probably be number six. And then I also put down Captain Marvel. I enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I would. I don't really know anything about Captain Marvel. Not that I know a lot about any of these superheroes, but I really loved Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. I thought she did a really great job, and I didn't really know what to expect from her. I've never really seen her in anything except for 21 Jump Street, which was a really weird movie for
Yeah.
her, considering that
That's
she's Captain
like a
Marvel.
brief cameo too.
Yeah, it's a
I don't
brief
know
cameo.
if a cameo would be it. That was a really small part.
No, it wasn't. She was in the
Wasn't it?
movie. She was Jonah Hill's girlfriend.
Oh, I'm thinking a different movie. Never mind.
Silly Trevor. But yeah, I really love that. And then I also enjoyed Nick Fury's character. I thought it was so cool that they had pretty much a younger Samuel L. Jackson. And I don't know, his like he was sort of like a rookie, if you will. He wasn't like the
Yeah.
Nick Fury we knew today, and like he was
Yeah.
just like so amazed by all of the stuff that was happening and was like, wait, what? And it was just like it was so cool, and like the enemies in that movie were pretty cool too, um how they morphed into other beings and stuff. Um
Yeah, that won't come back to kick him in the ass later.
Right?
Um, and then also, I mean, Brie Larson, I thought there was a good amount of comedy in this movie too. Like, I thought she was really witty and really like sarcastic and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. And then I think that was, oh no, I put Endgame on here too because it's Endgame. Might as well throw it on there.
On the end there.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. My honorable mentions. I'm not gonna really go into them because we've already got into them a lot. Civil War, Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then I also included Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I like the Doctor Strange movie. He was very trippy, I guess.
Mhm.
And then
Very.
I thought it was a great story. Like this self-obsessed doctor, he's trying to do whatever he can to get his hands back, and then like he finds a higher purpose, and like
Yeah.
protecting the universe against like the unknown or whatever. And I thought it was a really cool strategy of just if you can't win a fight against like this god, just wear it down or something.
Dormammu,
Yeah.
come to bargain.
Yes. You're just like repeating.
He's like,
Yeah.
for crying out loud, man.
That's what I do with Trevor.
I have.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't really like about Doctor Strange is just how he got into that car crash. Because I don't know, I felt like it was really like beyond dumb, even for someone as like confident and as cocky as he was. Like I don't know, I just feel like it wasn't that believable. Like his level of carelessness as he was driving down that windy road. I don't know. I don't know. I wish there was something they could have done differently because I feel like it was kind of just like, really, dude, you're gonna do that while you're driving. Like, come on.
He's in a hurry, okay?
It's like, I don't know.
All right, moving on to top pick.
Number one. I fought with this a lot. So
Yeah, you did.
number one, I put Infinity Wars. Just for the fact of like I once mentioned the loss of the heroes get it's on such a larger scale. And then just for like the reaction in the audience when we went to the theaters, like it was dead silent.
It was.
Like
Damn.
everyone like was leaving, and it was just like the most awkwardest ending. Like, fuck. And then like we had to wait through 2 movies, and then they were like, "Oh, then it's gonna be Endgame," and it's just like, what the fuck?
I want to know now.
Yeah, so pretty much just for the fact of like the impact that movie had on like everyone, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't go into more because we've talked about it a lot.
It's a good movie.
Yes.
My number one is Marvel's The Avengers.
Hey.
Oh shit.
I absolutely adore this movie, and I love that. First off, it's a modern take on the original first Avengers story. The first villain that the Avengers ever assembled against was Loki. So I love that they brought that to this like modern set of movies.
Nice.
Kind of like Kyle said, it was definitely the start of something bigger. Like nothing before this had ever been done like this, and
Yeah.
nothing that had been done like this had ever been done well either. So to see it done successfully was like mind blowing for me. The dialogue is clever, it's witty, and it's very profound in a lot of ways, and it's all the best ways. I felt like each character was given good time to be highlighted, except for maybe Hawkeye, but who cares?
Damn.
Poor Hawkeye.
He got his time to shine later, but like,
Your farm, Clint.
Yeah, Clint.
for, like, just going into a couple of them, like Mark Ruffalo obviously had huge shoes to fill for the Hulk, not pun intended, but kind of. Like we'd seen 2 Bruce Banners already, and none of them were really memorable. So for him to have to step into those shoes and take over this role, and what he brought to it was just such like this like sort of innocent quality to him.
Yeah.
And I really liked that he brought this aspect to it where he at the beginning of that movie despises the Hulk.
Yeah.
And like he treats him like another person, like it's not even him. And it takes, him going on this journey through this movie to kind of realize that he and the Hulk are the same person and they have to work together. And I really like that by the end of Endgame, like that's resolved for him and he's become one with the Hulk and
Yeah.
really acknowledged like that part of himself from starting off so hostile towards it. For Iron Man, like I really love his arc about figuring out who he is beyond the suit. I think Steve is the one who asks him like take it off, like what are you? And he has like this snarky answer, but like it takes his arc through the movie. Yeah, it takes his arc through this movie to realize like that he is a man beyond the suit, and he has to use the suit to like self-sacrifice, and he really takes things to heart in this movie, and I really like that sets him on the path to eventually, pay that off in Endgame. For Thor, I love that he's in this struggle of loving his brother and constantly trying to bring out the good in him.
Yeah.
And it's really put to the test here because he's never really seen what Loki is actually capable of until this movie where, Loki killed 80 people in 2 days. Like,
Jesus.
he has to, like, really contend with that by the end of this movie and really, like, kind of change their relationship. And I think it does change for a bit. By the time they get into Dark World, he is, like, just done with Loki. So I think it's it sets up a real potential for him to grow from that relationship, and eventually they get back on good terms, which is great. For Cap, he obviously has to catch up with the world he's been asleep, not seeing, and he also has to figure out like who he is beyond being Captain America, and also assemble this team of people together. And then I love Widow's journey too, because hers is all about dealing with her trauma, and it's really profound, and sets up like her future appearances and why she has this need to be a better person. And yeah, I just think everything is paid off for that is really well done in this movie. I like how every act is very carefully crafted. Like, Act 1, you have assembling everybody. Act 2, you show how these guys really aren't supposed to go together and you instill doubt in the audience. And then they have this inciting incident with Phil's death that, gets them to rally. And then Act 3, shows why these characters are the Avengers and why they have to assemble to save everybody.
Yeah.
But then, like, the final aspect I really love about this movie is the final fight choreography. The transitions between the fights, because they're obviously in separate places, but the transitions of, like, hey, for a second we're flying with Iron Man, and then he shoots down, and then the camera follows his shot down to the street where Captain America's fighting and stuff like that. The transitions are really good, and they really highlight, like, the focus and the emphasis on teamwork. Like, everything they're doing is like, let me team up with you. Like, Iron Man shoots Captain America's shield at one point to, like, bounce off all this energy. Hulk and Thor are on top of this big old flying whale thing, and they're hammering parts into it to take it down. Like, it's really emphasized that they're a team now by the end of this movie, and it's so cool. And, like, I love the waitress at the end and how, like, all this stuff has happened and everybody's like, oh my gosh, the Avengers, like, that's a thing. I didn't know they were out there. Like, did you see all these aliens and stuff? And then the waitress from, earlier just says, like, she wants to thank Captain America as a person and just kind of reminds everyone in this very genuine moment that, like, yeah, these people saved us. Like, that's cool, and all I would want to do is thank them. And it's just such a good movie. It's so well put together, and yeah, I don't want to take up more time, but I love it. I could go on for days.
Nice.
This podcast brought to you by Hannah.
Basically.
All right, so my number one pick as my favorite MCU movie is Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Oh shit!
I wasn't, after seeing Homecoming, I wasn't sure if the second one would be any better because I really enjoyed Homecoming, but I thought they did a great job on Far From Home. Because another thing that I was sort of thinking about, it's like, well, since Iron Man's gone, like, what are they gonna do with Peter Parker now?
What do?
Yeah, but I really just loved every part of this movie. I love the the sort of relationship between him and what's her name?
Ned?
MJ?
Yes, MJ. Sorry, thank you.
Oh my god.
I don't know why I'm really bad with names today. This is not my day. But I just really love how it's so obvious that they like each other. And then I love the reveal of she claims that she figured it out. But like when Peter tells her, like, yes, I'm Spider-Man, and it's just like she's like so confident, she's like, yeah, I knew that, I could have put that together.
Yeah.
And it's so great. And then I just their relationship, it's so believable, and like it's so clear that they care for each other. And then yes, Trevor, I do enjoy Ned and Peter as well. And then also I love how Ned's like really just a character, like more than just a side character. Like he's really a part of the movie in this one. And I love how him and that classmate, they just get together on the plane to Europe, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
they
like
break up.
yeah, and it's just like their relationship is so funny. It's just so dumb. But more seriously, I also really enjoyed Jake Gyllenhaal's character. Mysterio was I'm not one for reading any of the comics, so I didn't really know what was expected at all. And going into it, when I figured out that he was Mysterio, I was like, wait, but isn't Mysterio a bad guy? And then I was like convinced, like such an idiot for like just like Peter was. I was like, oh yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's a good guy, I guess. And then that reveal of him being you know having this like operation behind everyone's back, even to the point where he's fooling Nick Fury. I thought that was interesting. And
Such an
then
asshole.
yeah, like he was such a dick, but like it's kind of like how you guys were saying earlier about like you understand what he's doing and why he's doing it and his motivations and all that. But yeah, overall, I just really enjoyed this movie. I thought the action was good. I mean, the special effects were some of the best that I've ever seen. I really enjoy that scene when Mysterio is just giving Peter this huge mind fuck, and he's just like, it's just like illusion after illusion. And I think after I saw the movie, I was talking about it with Hannah. Maybe I was just saying like, I bet that scene alone costed millions of dollars to make.
Yeah.
Like it was just so like amazing what they did with that scene, and it was just like I don't know, it was so awesome. All the special effects in this movie were great, as in every Marvel movie really. Um, yeah, this was my favorite Marvel movie, and kind of surprisingly, the most recent one to come out. So I don't know, it's cool. Like I like it when movies and series that come out and continue to come out, when they continue to produce good movies, it's refreshing because like typically the norm is like, oh, it's the fifth or sixth movie in the series, it's not as good as the first two were, or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's refreshing to see like how the the quality of these movies has not really diminished at all. Like they're like just so good, all of them. But yeah, this was definitely my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah, I think that'd be because they have so many different directors and producers, and at the same time, like so many different characters.
Yeah, they're
Like,
able to
yeah,
keep it fresh, I
they're
think.
all in the same universe, but at the same time, like you can sort of take these, like the individual movies as individuals. Like this is going to be a Thor movie,
Yeah.
or this is going to be a Captain America movie or something. But then, like they happen to be part of a bigger picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, my top number one is also Infinity War. Um, as for mentioned, stated before, they lose at the end, and that's not really something you see or read or play or something. Like typically, the good guys win because that's what happens. That's what people want to see. But it is refreshing to see the good guys lose, and like, holy shit, did they lose? They lost hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's so many memorable moments in Infinity War, like just the fight on Titan, where like you could see Thanos, like he makes a fist with his hand, and then you could see like this red stuff going around the moon, and he brings down the moon on them.
Oh yeah.
Like holy
Throw
shit,
another moon
who
at
does
me.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Doctor Strange coming in doing his weird mystic shit. Like that was
shit.
also really cool.
Magic with a kick.
Like this is
Magic
just
punch.
like all these tiny hands coming out, and then like he splits into like what, like 50 different Doctor Stranges.
150.
Yeah, 150.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you can see like they're all trying to like work together to put this plan. Like don't let him close his fist. Like take off the
Star
glove.
Lord. No, just kidding.
Yeah. And just like I don't know, like it seemed like Thanos was just kind of a couple steps ahead of him the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was such a great movie. I think that might have been maybe the first one where like I absolutely had to see it again in theaters.
Yeah.
Get that impact.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just that's my number one.
Cute.
How about let's do predictions
Predictions?
for upcoming? Like we know some of the movies, but like who's gonna be the big bad guy?
It's gonna be me.
Is there going to be one?
It's
Is everyone
gonna
going
be
to
me.
team up again? Is there going to be like a new team of Avengers? Like what's going to happen?
Tobey Maguire is gonna be the new Iron Man, basically.
I'm thinking
The
Captain
face of
America.
MCU.
Well, we have a new Captain America now.
We do.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get a new set of Avengers for sure. It'll be like a younger generation because we're definitely gonna get Miles Morales at some point. We're getting Kamala Khan, who is Ms. Marvel,
Yeah.
Yes.
which is a very much a staple of one of the new Avengers. And we're definitely getting like She-Hulk and a bunch of other people. They're bringing in Daredevil from the Netflix series.
What?
Like,
Nice.
yeah, it's we're gonna get, I think, a lot of new teams, but I think we are gonna get a younger generation of Avengers.
Avengers?
Yeah, that was my guess too. Do you have a idea on big bad
Big
guy?
Bad?
Is there going to be one? Or
It's
who would
hard
you
to-
like to see?
It's hard to tell because Thanos is a big one.
Yeah.
He a big boy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to tell because like I know they're bringing in the Watcher for the Marvel's What If series, and the Watchers,
Yeah.
they're not typically villains. They're typically like people who observe all of the multiverses and stuff.
So like the timekeepers.
Kind
or
of like the
whatever fuck
timekeepers.
they're
Yeah,
called.
exactly. They've definitely introduced that there are some very powerful forces out there that you
Yeah.
know we've not even scratched the surface yet. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell from now who, like where they're going with it, which is kind of exciting. But at the same time,
Yeah.
like they led up to Thanos with the big one, which is that's huge. So
Yeah.
who knows
Huge
where
guy.
they could go from here.
I think it's
think-
gonna be Sandman and Ryan. They're finally gonna get their movies.
I think with the introduction of the Fantastic Four, I would love to see a good Doctor Doom.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes, Doctor Doom would be good. Ooh, and you know what? Galactus. Galactus
Yeah.
done right, where he's not a giant fart cloud.
Yeah.
You don't like the fartness?
No, he has this big dorky helmet, and like I feel like they could make that cool, even though it's a big dorky helmet.
You know, I
Plus,
would
we've
love
got
to
the
see-
X-Men coming in. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
we can get all of that too.
I would love to see villains fighting heroes who don't normally fight them. Like switch it up. Like it's already been shown that like all these different heroes had to come together to fight like the big bad guy. But like, what if in a smaller standalone movie, like let's say Ant-Man had to fight Doctor Doom, like how would that
That'd
go?
be cool.
That's why they created What If, Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trevor.
Voice crack, Kyle.
Pubescent Kyle. Yeah, I think we're in a position where we're gonna get a lot of cool stuff really quick, but it'll be interesting to see how they weave it because they've still got Kevin Feige, and he's the one who started all of this and started
Yeah.
the long game. So, who knows? We might get an even longer game.
And it would definitely be
Which would be
interesting
awesome.
to see callbacks. Because it feels like phases 1 through 4 are done. Like we're gonna be looking forward now, and like most of the original Avengers they're gone. They're out of it.
They're bye.
But we have the Black Widow, but I think that's just gonna be purely a flashback.
Well,
Like,
we'll
this is
see.
going to be
Before
100%
times.
a flashback. So we have like the new Avengers, but I would love to see callbacks to like maybe someone else had their hands behind the strings or something.
There's no strings on me.
Like maybe
It's Ultron the whole time.
Yes.
honestly, that movie that was probably. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but
It's one
it
of
wasn't.
the weaker ones.
Yeah, one of the weaker ones. But it would be interesting to see him brought back
True.
because how he's part of the internet. How do you, unless you're like you just completely destroyed the internet, how do you get rid of that?
Yeah, Wreck-It
Yeah.
Ralph.
Well, they're definitely gonna have to get some villains in there that can go personal with people, because I think those
Yeah.
are the best ones that
Yeah,
relate on a personal level, or they're a parallel of whatever hero they're facing. Like Trevor was saying, I think it'd be cool to see, like kind of in Spider-Verse, we saw Spider-Man face off against the Kingpin. That's not typically one of his villains. Like he's faced him before, but it's typically a Daredevil villain. So it's cool to see that crossover. And I think there's a lot of potential good crossovers, but we've also got like this giant multiverse which is going to happen. So that's
Yeah.
going to mess some stuff up. And I
Heavy
definitely
breathing.
think one of the villains in one of the movies is going to be Wanda.
Yes.
No
I
idea
agree.
why, but yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally.
my
Wanda. Make some heroes into some villains.
Ah.
and then
You're a bad
Civil
guy.
War 2.
You're a bad guy.
Okay, so uh, since we did predictions, like, is there any movie that we know of that you're looking forward to?
I would say Black Widow. I
Spider-Man.
really want to see.
You want to
Is it-
see the Russians?
Well, I mean, she was a big player, kind of
Big
not from
playa.
the start exactly, but she definitely had a giant role in that universe, and she never got her own movie.
True.
Yeah. That was frustrating.
And
Plus
like,
Taskmaster. He's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
He is such a cool villain. Kyle?
I don't know. It's Spider-Man. Or yeah.
Yeah,
I don't read too much into it, so
Kyle Jameson over here.
Remember,
bring me movies
Bring me
of
films
Spider-Man.
of Spider-Man. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to Thor: Love and Thunder. That's
Yeah.
gonna be real cool, especially because we know for sure that Valkyrie is gonna be in it. We obviously know that Thor is gonna be in it, but like we also know that someone else will be teaming up as a version of Thor, so that'll be cool.
It's a version of Thor.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil it for you, but
well, there's Fat Thor and Fit Thor. So what else is there?
Yeah.
oh yeah, and he's gonna be in the next Guardians movie too, so that'll be cool.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's a good
Yeah,
dynamic
Guardians
right
would be-
there. I really love when he's messing with the Guardians.
Yes, you're the captain.
Gigi?
Well, I'm interested to see where Black Widow goes. Spider-Man, that whole multiverse is gonna
Yeah,
be.
I mean, especially with the title "No Way Home."
Yeah.
Like, what are they referring to there?
What are they gonna
Like,
do?
is Peter Parker going to be trapped in a different universe?
Which Peter Parker?
Exactly.
Ah.
Multiverses. My prediction for that is that multiverse is coming to us, and like everything that's in the multiverse is somehow going to get sucked into the main dimension, like Marvel 616 or whatever they call it, and it's all going to get like merged so that everybody exists on the same timeline or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Captain Marvel 2.
Ooh,
It
yes.
should be interesting.
Kamala Khan.
And then, yeah, Guardians and Thor. So.
Although I did hear
Black
after
Panther
the
2.
end of
Yeah.
Guardians 3, Batista's done.
Oh,
Like, he's not
okay.
going to be playing tracks anymore. That's what I heard.
I haven't
shit.
heard
Okay.
anything.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and Black Panther 2, I'm interested to see where they're gonna take.
Yeah, where they're gonna
that.
go with
I
that.
thought Shuri would kind of take up the mantle.
Well, see, that's what people
She's
were saying,
probably not going to
but-
be in that movie.
but they didn't. I don't know. So it should be interesting to see what they go.
Yeah.
They bring back Killmonger from the dead.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Just okay.
Now you get the throne.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's going to you.
Ooh, you know who I would love to see as the big bad of like the next phase is Deadpool.
That
I
would be
want them to-
interesting.
Yes.
I would love for them to pull a Marvel Universe versus Deadpool,
Yeah.
where he's there's a comic book storyline where he murders
Yeah.
everyone. And I would love to see that like play out in some like fourth wall breaking fashion throughout the movies that we get. It would be
Yeah.
super cool to see that.
It would be interesting.
Someone had a really good idea about that, or a funny idea, where in a PG-13 movie you're allowed to say fuck once.
He just comes
So
in.
obviously you're expecting Deadpool to say it, but like, you know, he's savoring it, he wants to take his time, and then someone else comes in and takes it away from him. It's like, you can't, great, now I can't say it, otherwise we'll have to bump up the rating or something like that.
Yeah.
He's gonna mess up that universe so good.
And
I hope they
it's-
keep Ryan Reynolds. I don't see them changing who Deadpool is
If they
or who plays
don't,
Deadpool.
if they change it, I'm not watching it.
Yeah,
Boycott
he's such an
Deadpool.
amazing Deadpool.
You can't replace Ryan Reynolds. He's
No.
I am interested. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say he's the best. Go on.
He's the best.
I will. I was just gonna say I'm interested to see who they cast for the new X-Men, and if we'll even get the same X-Men, like, or unless they might try like some of the newer heroes or something like that. Some of
Yeah.
the newer X-Men that we haven't seen before. I'm interested to see where they go with that because I love the X-Men. They're very dear to my heart, and I'm. It's gonna be weird seeing them alongside like all of these great established heroes and stuff that we already have because they've been separate for so long. So
Yeah.
it'll be weird.
Yeah,
Seeing someone else take up the mantle as Wolverine is gonna be
Oh,
really
Yeah.
weird.
Yes.
possibly. I really don't want them using Fox's X-Men.
Yeah.
By that I mean like who played Jean Grey or Cyclops. Like just get some maybe fresh faces in there,
Yeah.
good actors.
I'll do it.
Kyle, you can be Charles. We'll shave your head.
Oh, good. All right. Is that everything? Did we get it all out?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So that
Just
was
kidding. Top 10, guys. Let's
Oh
go
my God.
backwards.
Now let's
Time
talk
heist.
about our worst Marvel movies. No, that'll
Iron
be
Man 2.
it. Poor Iron Man 2.
Yikes.
Never had a chance. All right, so that was the MCU top 5. Hope you guys
Where's your
enjoyed
radio voice?
that. I left it at home.
Oh.
Aren't you
You're
at
at
home?
You don't know where I am.
You're recording on your PS5, are you not?
I'm standing behind you, Trevor.
Oh, God.
So
Spirit
yeah,
Bud.
that was top 5 Marvel. If you don't like our list, you're wrong and we're right.
Suck it.
So yeah,
Even though we didn't
Down.
agree on our list.
Yeah.
That's okay.
yeah.
Tell us we're wrong in the comments.
Yeah.
Or go
We
fuck
dare
yourself.
you.
And yeah, that's it for this one. So later.
Bye.
Bye.
That's
Excelsior!
Yeah.